The stars burned cold over the sacred temple of Vethra's Prime. 12 alien species had gathered in the ancient hall, their representatives standing in nervous silence. The oracle machine hummed with power that was older than most civilizations in the galaxy. For 10,000 years, the machine had never been wrong. Tonight, it spoke again. High Priest Korath of the Vethran people raised his 4 arms toward the glowing crystal sphere. His gray skin reflected the strange purple light that filled the chamber. Around him stood ambassadors from every corner of the known universe. They had traveled for months to witness this moment. The oracle spoke only once every 100 years, and its words always shaped the future. The machine's voice echoed through the hall like thunder from a distant storm. The ancient language filled every mind directly, needing no translation. The prophecy was simple and terrible. A child would be born this night on a small blue planet in the outer rim. This child carried the mark of the Dark One. This child would bring destruction to all living things. Every civilization would fall. Every star would go dark. Every hope would die. The chamber exploded into chaos. Ambassador Rix of the Scorian Empire demanded immediate action. Her serpentine body coiled with rage as she hissed her commands. The child must be found. The child must be destroyed before the prophecy could come true. Other voices joined hers. The Makari delegation, creatures of pure energy bound in metal shells, pulsed with agreement. The Thornax, giant insectoid warriors, clicked their mandibles in approval. Only one voice spoke against them. Ambassador Chen Wei stood at the back of the hall. She was the only human present, representing a species that had joined galactic society just 50 years ago. Humans were considered primitive by most standards. Their planet was small. Their technology was young. But they had proven themselves clever and stubborn, earning a seat at the table through sheer determination. Chen Wei asked a simple question. How did they know the prophecy meant destruction in a bad way? The oracle had said the child would destroy all. But what if all meant something different? What if the child would destroy all suffering, all war, all darkness itself? Korath dismissed her words with a wave of his hands. The prophecy was clear. The language was specific. Destroy meant destroy. There was no other interpretation. Humans were too young to understand the weight of 10,000 years of perfect predictions. The oracle machine had never failed. It would not fail now. The council voted. 11 species agreed to send their combined fleet to the blue planet called Earth. They would find the child born this night and end the threat before it could grow. Chen Wei voted against them, but her single voice meant nothing against the chorus of fear. She left the temple with heavy steps. Her ship waited in orbit, a small vessel compared to the warships already gathering. She had one advantage the others did not. She knew Earth. She knew its people. And she knew exactly which hospital the prophecy spoke of. The fleet traveled through jump space for 3 days. Thousands of warships carrying soldiers from a dozen species. They were prepared for anything. They expected resistance. They expected the humans to fight. What they found instead was a planet going about its normal business, completely unaware of the armada approaching. Chen Wei reached Earth first. Her small ship slipped through the fleet's detection grid using old human tricks. She landed in a field outside a small city. The hospital was only a few kilometers away. She ran through the night, her heart pounding with desperate hope. The maternity ward was quiet when she arrived. Nurses moved between rooms with gentle efficiency. Families waited with excited smiles. None of them knew that death hung in the sky above them, ready to rain down at any moment. Chen Wei searched the records quickly. Only one child had been born in the last hour. A baby girl named Sarah, born to a young couple who had waited years for this blessing. She found the room. The mother slept peacefully while the father sat beside the small crib, watching his daughter with wonder in his eyes. The baby was tiny and perfect, wrapped in a soft pink blanket. She did not look like a destroyer of worlds. She looked like hope itself. Chen Wei made her choice in that moment. She would not let them kill this child. She would not let fear murder innocence. Whatever the prophecy meant, she would find another way. The fleet arrived in Earth's orbit an hour later. General Varax of the Scorian Empire commanded the operation. His orders were clear: find the child, eliminate the threat, minimize other casualties if possible, but complete the mission at any cost. He sent his best soldiers to the surface. But Chen Wei had prepared. She had contacted every human military base on the planet. She had shared the truth of what was coming. And humanity, young and stubborn and fierce, had decided to fight. The first Scorian landing craft was met with missiles and fire. Human soldiers poured from hidden positions, their primitive weapons somehow effective against advanced armor. The aliens had expected easy prey. They found warriors instead. General Varax watched the battle reports with growing frustration. More ships, more soldiers. They would overwhelm the humans with numbers, but every minute of delay felt dangerous. The child still breathed. The prophecy still hung over them all. In the hospital, Chen Wei stood guard over the young family. She had armed herself with the best weapons Earth could provide. Outside, she could hear explosions and screaming. The battle was getting closer. She would not run. She would not abandon these people. The father demanded to know what was happening. Chen Wei told him everything: the prophecy, the fleet, the reason why aliens had come to kill his newborn daughter. The man listened in silence. Then he picked up his child and held her close. He said something that Chen Wei would remember for the rest of her life. He said that his daughter was not a destroyer. She was a creator. She was love made flesh. And if the universe wanted to take her, it would have to go through him first. The battle lasted 2 days. Human forces fought with everything they had. Cities burned. Millions died. But they held the line. They bought time for Chen Wei and the family to escape into the mountains, into hidden bunkers that no alien scanner could penetrate. General Varax grew desperate. He authorized orbital bombardment. Whole regions of Earth were turned to glass and ash. Still, the humans fought. They emerged from the rubble and attacked again. They hijacked alien ships and turned weapons against their makers. They were impossible to defeat, because they simply refused to accept defeat. On the 3rd day, something changed. The Oracle machine on Vethros Prime activated again without warning. This had never happened before. A new prophecy emerged, and High Priest Korath went pale as he heard the words. The machine said that the prophecy was already fulfilled. The Dark One had been named and found. The destruction had already begun. But the words that followed shook Korath to his core. The child did not bring destruction to life. The child brought destruction to darkness itself. The Dark One was not the baby. The Dark One was fear. The Dark One was the hatred and prejudice that had driven 11 species to murder innocents. The child was the light that would expose this darkness and burn it away. By attacking Earth, the fleet had proven the prophecy true. They had shown the universe their true nature. They had become the villains of their own story. And humanity, by fighting to protect one small life, had proven something about themselves. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Species that had supported the attack fell into shame and chaos. Their governments collapsed under the weight of their crime. Their people demanded justice. The Scorian Empire fractured into a dozen warring states. The Makari withdrew into isolation for 1,000 years. The Thornax swore oaths of service to humanity as penance for their sins. Earth survived, scarred and broken, but alive. Humanity emerged from the war as something new. They were no longer the young species learning their place in the galaxy. They were the people who had stood against impossible odds to protect the child. They were the species that had faced prophecy itself and said no. Chen Wei returned to the Galactic Council 10 years later. She brought Sarah with her, now a bright young girl with curious eyes and a kind smile. The child stood in the same chamber where her death had been ordered. She looked at the alien faces around her without fear. The new high priest of Vethros bowed before her. He apologized for his predecessor's blindness. He asked for forgiveness that he knew he did not deserve. Sarah considered his words with the seriousness that only children can manage. Then she smiled and took his hand. She said that she forgave him. She said that everyone makes mistakes when they are scared. She said that the important thing was to learn and to be better. The galaxy did learn. The war against Earth became known as the Great Shame. It was taught in schools across 1,000 worlds as an example of how fear corrupts wisdom. The Oracle machine was studied and eventually understood. Its prophecies were not commands or warnings. They were simply possibilities, shaped by the choices of those who heard them. If the 11 species had chosen peace, the prophecy would have meant something else entirely. Perhaps Sarah would have grown to destroy poverty or disease or war itself. Instead, they chose violence, and the prophecy became about the destruction of their own honor. Humanity took its place among the stars as equals. Their technology advanced rapidly with alien help. Their culture spread and mixed with others. But they never forgot the lesson of that terrible war. They never forgot what it cost to protect one innocent life. Sarah grew into a remarkable woman. She became a diplomat, traveling between worlds to solve conflicts before they became wars. She had a gift for seeing the good in others, even when they could not see it themselves. She helped heal wounds that were centuries old. She brought peace to places that had known only fighting. In the end, the prophecy was right. She did destroy all. She destroyed all barriers between species. She destroyed all prejudice and hatred wherever she found it. She destroyed all reasons for war between the stars. She was not the darkness the aliens had feared. She was the light that burned it away. And humanity, stubborn and fierce and loving, had given her the chance to shine.